Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Coffee Review, or MCR as the cool kids call it, aka just me and Michael. But hey, it's December 17th. This is our final MCR of 2024. Holy moly, time flies. But next week being Christmas Eve and the following Tuesday being New Year's Eve, we're going to take a little break and enjoy some holidays and maybe some cookies and other treats. You got any holiday plans there, Michael?
Nothing big. Like, we've talked about doing the remodel, so nothing crazy. Some families going out of town, so we'll just be hanging out, plan on visiting some friends. But excited to talk about our topic today. This is something that people have asked for pretty readily, because the other one was a hidden one and disappeared into the ether because we didn't want to post it. But thinking about it, and getting out of bed this morning, I was thinking, we're in the season of giving. So everything that is taught today will live forever in the ether of YouTube. So glad you're here because you can ask questions if you're live. While we kind of run through these, there will be links that I won't say that they're going to only be in this live thing, but they may be. Justin may ping me for them and we'll add them to there. But yeah, so some good stuff. Holiday plans? Nope, we're good. What about you? What are you doing?
We do our little family holiday thing this weekend, so we'll travel a little bit and head out, and then we'll be back, and it'll just be sort of a cool, calm, quiet time this year, which is kind of nice. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. So. All right. Sorry, Read AI. We got to kick you out.
I already
And then,
kicked it out. Was there a new one?
yeah, it must be. Anyway,
Well, anyway, any updates for?
no, I checked this morning, and I've been checking lately. There's no big updates coming from Bluebeam or any of our other partners that I'm aware of. But this is the last one, last MCR leading into the holidays. And fair warning, there is a price increase for most things like the first week of January. So if you've got a renewal coming up, or if you've got to add a couple more seats, or you've got some end of the year cash laying around, throw it at some software, save you some money in the long run. The 10% increase that's coming to Bluebeam is for those who upgraded their Review 20. So that's been part of the cycle. It's been part of the plan all along. It's not a surprise, but the timing might be. So, just thought I'd throw that out there in case you're wondering, like, hey, why is this 10% more expensive than it was last year? I like to say
What
the same
else?
thing about cereal and bread and eggs and milk and all that other stuff, but hey, that's a whole other topic. So, cool. Well, today's topic, speaking of topics, is JavaScript. So, this is something, as Michael said, we've touched on a few times, but we haven't gone in full depth in a while. And the one that we did do, that one didn't get ported over to YouTube. So this one will be.
Yep.
So hello, future viewers who are watching on YouTube. Hope you're having a good day. Hopefully Michael's getting caffeinated and starting to feel this, because I've got nothing to offer for this topic other than I can kind of find where to put it in review. And I could probably put some stuff into ChatGPT to have it help me a little bit, but Michael spent far more time in this arena than I have, and some of the other folks who have joined us live this morning have also got more experience with this. So, without
It's not
further
Java's.
ado,
Yeah, sorry.
I'll let you take it over from here.
It's not JavaScript overall. Maybe at some point with integrations and those types of things, it could be about JavaScript overall. This is specifically around stamps, and the ability to go through and modify it. So I went down the venture a while ago on learning and creating custom stamps, and it's been a while, so bear with me as we go through this. But I'm pretty sure all of you folks out there are super smart and can pick the pieces back from what I'm relearning since it's been a minute. But let's go through and share some things. Some helpful things that I found that were available are going to be these two links. So there's this one that I ended up finding. It's from github.com. Some guy named, is it Jason?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason.
He had one that really got me started from here. And then I used this from actually Liz. She uses something different now on her desktop, but I had to go back and scroll through a different video that's JS Hint to help me formulate my creation of it because it's not really friendly in stamps. But our end goal is going to be to create a custom stamp like this that has nothing curated in it. It's just some options that you can then modify at some later point. So basically how this one works is the end goal is to place a customized stamp that lets you modify it kind of like a template, right? Or a bare bones minimum. Hey, this has everything I need or anyone would need. And then they can go through and modify it by any visual representation that they want. I have a couple of them for different options. So if I go to my stamps here, I have a couple of ones that give you different options. So there's a couple bare bones ones. Today, what we'll just be, I guess we'll go with is the custom text drop down with a checkbox in it, and go through step by step how we can go through and create something similar to this as well. So with a lot of these stamps, because people have asked too, there's some limitations to them just natively in Revu and the options that you're able to go through and select. But kind of prefacing, end goal is to create something like this. And how did I get here? So going back full circle, I started out with a basic one from what this person had to understand some of these options that were in here. So this one just has two options, which is text boxes and drop downs, which are essentially a selection. So if I go back into this and I get ready to place a similar stamp here, there's a drop down selection, right? So that one had text boxes with drop down selections that are controlled by this JavaScript selection here, meaning the window is populated by that JavaScript here. Now, what pushes and pulls data is a calculation window that goes to a secondary JavaScript that has to match some of those embedded options. So that being said, if you go back in this, and I'll share this link so you all don't have to worry and screaming at the screen right now that you want access to this because you'll get it. It's the actual stamp builder code. So the stamp builder code, which I've tried modifying dozens of times to just create a bare bones one that gives you every single option. But basically this allows you to go through and a lot of it says don't edit it, which yeah, if you don't want to mess up your stamp, don't edit it. But if you don't care and you're creating your own custom stamp, have at it, right? So this actual build window is what pushes a calculation, which is the information from the JavaScript UI into the data here. So this JavaScript builder is what actually is built into that as a sub-calculation window for the information that's populating here. So if you're able to get everything in the builder, essentially, theoretically, you can have everything in a bare bones JavaScript window. The thing with the out-of-the-box JavaScript windows is that they're limited to what options are in there. Their builder is, right? Like a checkbox and a dropdown and text, right? They're limited to what's existing. And I don't know where this person got this one from. And it was probably the same way where I'm going through. It's just an assumption, which is just copying an existing one builder and then copying it into the new stamp. But again, there's options, and I just wanted to give this out to everybody so they can see it. Let me paste this. You're monitoring the chat because this thing's going crazy. Like I just clicked in here and it's like dozens and it won't let me go. So
we've got the GitHub link that you're going to post in there.
Right now. Yep.
Liz posted a Bluebeam support one. And then there's also the JS Hint one. So there's a number of different links that you can refer to if you're trying to go through this stuff.
So there's a Bluebeam one. I think this is actually just a script reference to overall Bluebeam. So never mind. This is the one.
That's a different one.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this one is the one that I keep repeating myself. It's probably horrible on YouTube. You can use this for your embedded JavaScript or just script references in Bluebeam. It's like a button that does something, right? So I'll post this one too. And then there was another one because I'm going to tell you my whole as the coffee kicks in, and then we'll get into building one. I also went to the Acrobat one because there is sequences in here that I was trying to understand because Bluebeam doesn't give you everything. I don't know why, but I guess they just don't. I don't know. And then if you wanted a stamp that did more, if you look through all the Bluebeam information, it says request it. And I did. And it got nowhere. So, bummer. Can you believe that? I guess so. It would just be helpful to have a stamp that did everything, right? So anyways, I made a stamp that had all the options that are already pre-curated from examples. And I am currently working on, when I have time, as you can tell, it's been a couple months since I've even done this, so I haven't had time, of building out one that's universal, that has all of them. Because essentially what you have to go through is go through your embedded code. That's the wrong link. It's this one. You have to go through. No, I just clicked the same link. Which one is it? No, that was right. You have to go through all of the stamp builder codes to understand what's different and apply the old stamp builder code to the new existing stamp builder code and hope it works. Okay, so if we're going to go through and create a custom stamp, what you're able to do is we'll show some of the existing one and talk through it. This is the only reason I'm doing this is to re-jog my memory. But basically what you have is you have form fields that have data that's inputted into those form fields, right? So if I come over here to forms, you have a radial option. You have your checked, which is text. So as you see these options here, you have these options that are, the text is actually also essentially a drop-down, just so you're all aware. It's not actually the drop-down selection. It's a text that becomes a drop-down selection in the UI of the JavaScript, and it places text in the text box. You also need a calculation window. This calculation window here, we move you all over to here, is actually what allows you to go through and place that builder code. This builder code is everything that is programmed to input data from your JavaScript UI window and plug the data back into the stamp, right? Because the JavaScript UI that populates open is getting information, but then it's saying, what do I do with that information? And this code here is what pushes the data back into the form. Does that make sense? I'm explaining this all to you, Jason, and you listening in for the first time, folks, to see if he can grasp as we go through this, okay?
Oh, I'm supposed to be paying attention right now?
Yes, yes.
I was told just I had to watch the chat.
Both,
so,
multitask.
Oh, we're talking about a whole bunch of things over here. So,
okay. All right. So how did we get here, right? Basically what I did is I took what was available from, I started with the easiest one to replicate. That's what I would request all of you to kind of start with too. Or you can actually take an existing builder code from an existing stamp. So if I come over to here and you did have everything in engineering review that you wanted, same thing here is you can go through and actually use this calculation window that's down here. You just open up forms and grab this one. And this is that same one. It says, warning, do not edit. And true, do not edit. You could copy this into a note, right? Or you can copy this into this JavaScript builder here. And that's what you're going to use to copy and paste into your new one when you create a calculation window. Perfect. So that's essentially your calculation window. To populate, you have a status, which is some radial buttons that allow you to check what you have here. So essentially, let me exit out of here. you have these options here from the radial buttons of what you want to have a pre-selection for, like Michael, approved, revise, rejected, information, checked by. And within those, you have a JavaScript window that populates that data. So these are the forms that plug into your UI, which is this selection here. So this stamp code is populating the data from the UI of the JavaScript and saying, gather this data from the JavaScript UI. Then using the calculation window, it's pushing that data into the stamp as it's being placed. So there's two areas, do not edit and one that you do edit. The one that you do not edit, I highly suggest, if you have time, figure out how you can combine all the builders and subtract and add from existing ones. The great thing about this JavaScript, in theory, if this one has some of this one that you need, you can bring them together. That's great, because we're in this era that you're just placing bones into one to make a full, whatever, skeleton. Cool. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good analogy. Okay. So that was the stamp. From here, now let's go through and create a bare bones one together. And we'll use the example here because then you have all the example that you need from wherever in the ether of me doing that Google search and finding it. So I'm going to go through and hit create stamp. Man, my heat kicked on and this coffee's hot. So anyways, let's go.
I'm gonna crack a window.
I know I need to. Yeah, we'll just get by. There's a README. I didn't read the README. You probably should.
Has anybody ever intentionally read a README? It's like, you telling me to read you? No.
And I'm wondering if we're bogging this all down.
Oh boy.
I got a unicorn.
It's an angry unicorn.
I wonder if everyone just clicked this in the infinite of the the thing and it crashed. But let's see. This may not be a good example, but if you do go through and look at the forefront, this explains it. Wow, I think we crashed it.
It's weird.
Oops. So if you go through here, it actually explains this pretty in depth as well. So that's why I never really created one, because like this is out here. I'm going to recreate something that someone's already done. But yeah, basically you go and you hit your plus, and then you have, this is all just what I just talked through. I forgot that this one was here. This is good. Then you have your stamp code, the name of the stamp code, the data reference. So if you're ever wondering, this even talks you through what JavaScript is, right? You have your first instance of the integer of the ID name, and then you have the menu item. So this is going specific to, this one's going to the field of forms to plug the data. This is the data just name. So what do you see here? And then you have the data name, right? That's going and plugging to that data string. So here's a full example. You have Bluebeam field name, you have the dialog field name, you have the menu ID name, then you have the default value as function, and it even tells you and talks you through how to do like comma strings for it and everything as well. So this is pretty in depth. So congratulations to this person that really took time to go through and itemize this out. So you had that estimator one that had the field options for that one. So estimator is a text, which is confusing because you would think you'd want a drop down because it populates as a drop down, but it's text because you have values of options here. I think that's the end. Cool. Awesome. Let me get this copied over. So what I did first and foremost was copy the builder over, because this is what data you want to show in your stamp. That's already kind of pre-curated, right? because we don't have to worry about the essentially do not edit code, the main plug data into the stamp code, because it's already pre-curated for this option. I'm not going to go through the long-winded explanation of like explaining how you can edit the other one. But basically from here, this is a pre-existing one that you may find value from. And you want to add some additional options to it, right? So let's explain the first code. You have menus. So the menu, when you click it open, there's an option to have some pre-curated menus. So if I come into here and I go back to a stamp and do this one, you can have menus. You have project, which is a menu, and then you have your options. So you can have different menus to select things from. So that's this indication here that it's saying, hey, here's an ID menu 1 and an ID menu 2. What are you going to name those menus? Project and rep. Okay, so you're going to have two different integers here. Next is going to be, okay, what properties and things are you going to have in here? So you have text box properties is going to be the first part, right? And typically you do not need this part of the JavaScript. This is just describing what's in here, right? So next one is your text boxes. You have project. So there's going to be a field called project. So I would need some type of form field of text that is labeled as project. Otherwise, it's not going to pull the data into that form field. It needs to be one-to-one. The description doesn't matter because the description is just populating in the JavaScript window itself. Now, there is an ability, if you did like date here in this text, to auto-populate a date. And I, not being a JavaScript expert, was like, I would like to have a date here. So you could theoretically copy this over, right, and bring this in as a function to have a secondary option that is the date. It's up to you. Now, when I was doing that, I was like, I'm not very expert level of creating these things. How did someone else, if I wanted to add a date to this, make that work? To a text, right? So here's an auto function of date already existing in one of my stamps that I did. So what was done there that allowed me to populate that data? So you can Frankenstein this thing together from existing stamps that are on the Bluebeam website. So for instance, if I'm in this stamp here, all I need to do is go to my tools and go to, forms and JavaScript and look at my stamp code for this one. And you'll see that there is a built-in one here for my date and time function. So theoretically, I could just grab one, and if you're like, Mike, you already have one, but show me what from an existing one so I can go somewhere else. So let me find one from the Bluebeam out of the box. Yep, there's that one. So let me go and grab this one from Bluebeam out of the box and, kind of Frankenstein this thing together to be what it needs to be for mine. And I'm already editing it, so I don't know why I'm not going into here. You're watching the chat, right, Jason?
Yes.
Okay. So from here, here's this function that it's going to be going through. So there's actually two, to be honest. It auto-populates a text field. Remember, we just saw that earlier. Here's the text fields. And it's going to auto-populate. This is saying, hey, here's a form of text that says check by, and I put CB here to show that you can change it. We did this before, which is easily changing some existing ones. But then it says here, it's actually going to the integer of the Colab user. So it's going to go and look for the defined user to auto-populate the user ID in that field. Same thing for this one. It's going to go through and pull the date. So you can actually just say, well, oh, I want the date one. Perfect. Control C. Let's go over into my little thing here. We'll do a little return. Oh, I didn't see that this one had the full function over here. So how do you move the window over? Whatever, we'll just go paste. It needs to be in the same line.
You don't move the window over, says Liz. So in the chat, Liz had put month, date, full year, hours, and minutes, a code that you can paste into ChatGPT, and then you can tell ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT to reformat it however you like. So if you want to show, year and date without the time, you could do that, or time and month, or however you like.
Yeah. I didn't use chat for this, and I definitely could have, but I wanted to understand it. Chat's a great tool, but I don't like to use it without understanding it because it's truly an input, right? So I would want to understand if it even gave an output correctly to me. But anyways, getting back to this, you can come in here and just copy these functions in, same thing, right? So just be aware you have options. They just need to be in the same sequence area. So as you're going through and creating this, make sure you're editing the breaks for these. And it tells you if something's working or not working as it's going through into here. So this will allow you to kind of understand where that this functionality kind of enters into. So now I have a date, and the default function for the date is going to be auto-populating the date information into here. And you can change the name if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. Secondary one, if you come down to the drop-downs, again, isn't actually a drop-down natively in your form fields, which you would want it to be. I thought it would be, and it's not. It's a text that gives you drop-down fields of the text itself. So values text displayed, these are what you're going to have for options of those. If you wanted multiple ones, single ones, it's up to you. You're just having the field, the description, and then your menus. What menu? So when you see a menu here, what menu is this falling into? And if we go back up to the top, you have menu 2 and menu 1 or menu 2. So this is saying it's going into menu 1. So I would actually need to add a menu value to this one too, because the original one didn't have a menu value from the existing one. It was just putting the option there. So you would just want to add this as a secondary one to this line here. Just going back down. What?
Just trying to get caught up on your code here.
Okay. So again, Frankenstein, that's what I did for this. I'm no JavaScript expert, so cool stuff. It's great when it works. You plug it all in, you're like, I hope this works. And then it works, and you're like, oh, this is awesome, right? You have the aha moments. But anyways, come back down to your drop downs. You have some options down here. You have field, you have description, you have menu, you have values. These are the instances of values here that are option selections for whatever you want to place. So coming back over to here, kind of giving everyone a full example as we kind of walk through this. I feel like visual examples of someone that's explaining things are very beneficial. So if I come back into here, those drop downs are essentially giving you something like, we'll just place my same one here, giving you these drop downs, right? So if I'm looking at this, right, you have the project and then you have your drop down of whatever option you wanted for that. And that project is right here. So project is a text. So don't say that I'm lying because it is a text, but it gives you options as I'm looking at it. Okay. And it wants me to put a status, but that's fine. Just be aware of those. Okay. So hit exit. Alrighty. I think this is good for now. So let's go through and look. I need to create one that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. I guess I maybe not want one of this last one, but that's fine. Okay, so we'll pull this over here. So all I need to do is go through and create not a text, my bad. You're going to create an actual text form field here as you're going through and creating them. So we'll add our one. This first one is going to be project field. So all I'm doing on my second screen that you're not seeing is I need to make sure it's the same name as what that form field is going to be. project is my first one. And then I guess you could copy it, but I mean, I'm just going to come over here and hit this one. Then my next one's going to be plan release. I thought it was plan review, but this one says plan release. Okay, cool. And it needs to be spelled exactly the same. So
case sensitive.
Yes. Man, these words aren't so small. Perfect. Next one is going to be dates, because remember I went and copied that date. That one may not work, but hey, we'll figure it out. Date. I'm just scrolling down the list on the left. The next one is going to be the field of estimator. We'll have one more that is going to be sales rep. Okay. Do we have any questions? How's the chat going?
So there's Ed suggested that your project one, you might have a trailing space in the line.
Okay.
Make sure that you've got that. And then
thanks,
Liz
Ed.
said sometimes she copies and pastes. That's a good way to do it. Then Rob has a question. Does the order matter? Can you put project in after the date? And Liz says the order does not matter.
Yeah, order doesn't matter. Any other ones?
That is it.
Yeah. I think the order matters with calculation. I think I messed up a couple of times with not, I forget if you need the calculation window first before you build the JavaScript window. I think I'm just going to go figure it out together. So we'll save this as this is now.
Oh, calculation order.
I'm saving 2 because then I don't have to come back and recreate this. And this is what you could do. Save a couple extra when you finally get your text fields in here, because you can just go between each one as you're modifying it. That's what I like to do. That's what I learned, because it was great having to go back and recreate things when they didn't work. So at every iteration, like, just saved a new one. You know what I mean? Like, you're good. Okay. So now what we'll go through and do is we'll go through, and I'm going to do it this way first because I don't recall, to be honest, and set some additional ones here. So this is the Bluebeam state one. I always just kept it because, I don't know, I didn't really understand why I gave you both. And I'm pretty sure in the ledger example here, this gentleman or person, sorry, this person explains it. Like, if you go through and read it, this tells you literally step by step. He even tells you actually download the data files, boom, under the form tab in the fields, modify dialog box to the calculation window. So he's saying the calculation window first. So I don't know if that needs to be done first or not. We'll do that first then. So let me go over to here. So you just need one that is called calculation window, and I'll just put it down here. And I think it needs to be spelt out a specific way. Let's see. Yeah, calculation. Okay. And this is just the bottom right here. And coming over to here, that it is a custom. So I guess let me do step by step because some folks haven't done this before. I selected the form field of calculation. And then under my settings, you may auto-populate in advanced or, appearance. Go to this setting and you can come over here and change this to a custom calculated field, and then you can hit edit. What needs to be copied over here is your option. There's even this global stamps here, but let's not get into that. What he has created, that has been created here in the example on that thing I just shared with all of you. Copy, paste, boom. There's my global selection. I guess I should just say what it is, global selection. But they also have like this global script pops to the script window here, but that's not what it is. So I'm going to hit OK. So there's your example for this option. And then as you go back, I guess I could have read this one instead of trying to remember. That would have helped out. But you know me, I like to go off the cuff and try to remember things. So going back into here, we'll go to our form. We'll go to the JavaScript. And this does need to be named a specific way because the calculation window has that information for that example. So just being aware of when you're going through and creating this one, this is going to be your stamp code. So if I go and hit plus, nope, I want plus. This one's going to be my stamp code. Now this is going to be your stamp code that you've created from your script window here. And there was something wrong. Who said that? Who was it?
Wrong with your stamp code?
Yeah, this one. I'm missing a semicolon. I think that's because it's ending that stamp function here.
Look at that, yeah. Expected bracket to match bracket from line 47 instead of...
Maybe I needed a comma here to... There we go.
Duplicate key mat on 94.
I'm not worried about the other ones because that was from the builder. But yeah, so essentially it didn't say when I was looking over here, it's not it from the original code, it stopped here, right? Mm-hmm. So you weren't saying there's a new line of data, comma. So I inputted a new comma here.
You have an unmatched bracket, which will cause it not to work. So in line 19.
Line 19.
Weird.
Where is this bracketing to? The end? Let me go back to
the very, very end is what Liz says.
Yeah, there is no, is there not one on 100? Yeah. So there's no end bracket. Cool. So it's start bracket, end bracket of my JavaScript code.
Now it says line 100 is missing a semicolon. Not sure why. Just plop a semicolon in there is what she says. Before or after the bracket?
Do I need a semicolon?
Yeah.
All right.
It's just you're gonna have to make it happy. All right, and then one duplicate key mat on 94.
94.
Oh, because you have two mats there.
Yeah.
For values.
Matt, you're throwing this. This one was from. The person that created this had two mats. Just
put a mat 3. Yeah, mat A.
Matt, this person really liked Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, because Matt's here. We can just keep saying Matt all day.
No, we need all the mats.
And be wary that you're going all the way down. So just I like to come back and look at my options in here. So make sure this field is project, project, plan release, plan release, date, date, next string, estimator, estimator, sales rep, sales rep, and then we have our calculation. Okay. Then it's the fun time of, I hope it works. Because if not, you gotta go back and figure it out. What didn't work and what did work. Tools, stamp, MCR3, and there we are. So you have project, example, and you're not done here. Type in data. And remember, I copied this over from an existing one, so you can Frankenstein things together as you're going through. There's a Matt. There's a Matt again. Is Matt still in here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so some data didn't input. So Matt and Matt did. Some text didn't come over from the stamp, and we'll have to figure out why. Almost there. And the only thing I can think of, we'll go back into the script window here. It could have been something with the builder of the date, but the date was inputted and didn't input the text. What? Awkward silence as I'm reading. Yeah.
No, Liz was too busy finding a emoji to figure out what's going on here.
I wonder if the way it formatted it in here messed
project and
the
under page
string
one, check
up.
the project line.
Cause see, it messed the string up here. Right here. This string needed to move over. So I'm wondering if this copy paste didn't work into the builder, because we're fine here. That's why the drop downs worked. I think this copy paste from that builder messed up my script string here.
Ed still thinks you have a space after project under page one on the left. Not in there on the actual form panel.
Oh, but that would have not worked in this one. That just would have made this one not work.
Looks like there is a space there though.
No, I'm in there. I deleted it. Like
at the end of after the T.
Oh. So we're almost there. I think the copy paste stamp builder, we'll try it again. I don't think that would have thrown it all off, but we'll give it a whirl. I think the copy paste from the builder, from the JavaScript UI is throwing it off, to be honest. Let's see. Because these aren't working. Everything else is working. Oh, maybe it was it. Look at that. So was it the one space that Doug pointed out in the original one? I don't know. That's the fun part about this. Could that have been really it? If I go back to the stamp builder code, let's see.
Ed, save the day.
Yeah, we didn't change the string here. I just don't think that this is correct, personally. Because this is supposed to contain all of my information. I thought this data couldn't go past the bracket here to here. But that's me. That's why I'm not a JavaScript expert. Okay. So going back over to here, let's try it one more time. And maybe I didn't save it after. No, because we did, because it gave me the drop down. Yeah. So maybe it was the space that Ed pointed out.
It was the space, not maybe.
It was the space. So let's go through and try it one more time. And I'm going to add the space. Try to recreate the issue. Anyone know the song? Hello, it's me. That's what I'm singing when I'm typing that in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a space. Look at that. So if you ever, if you ever have an issue, check. Also, I wonder why that throws it all off. Is it because in the stamp code? Let me go. Is it the first one of that sequence? Right. So let me see. What if we did project last? Yeah, because project's first. So if the first one doesn't work, does that mean the other ones don't work? What if we did like plan release first? Or yeah, let's test that. Okay, hold on. I want to test one more thing. Okay, project works now. Plan release space. Boom. Save. I wonder if it's going to let that other one work first. Stamp here.
So the bet is that the order's not going to mess it up, but the first one will fill, and then it's not going to go after that.
Yep. Look at that.
Isaac predicted it. Ta-da!
Cool.
Something as silly as a little missing space that you wouldn't be able to see
Throws
unless you
everything
had paid
off.
attention to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So many things.
So I think this means that Ed's available to watch everybody code.
Yes.
I'm sure for a low hourly rate of probably less than $1 million an hour, Ed will be happy to watch you code and just double check your work.
That should suffice, right?
Yeah.
It's only $1 million. No big deal.
We'll take 10% of that, Ed.
Yeah.
For advertising.
Perfect. So I think we're almost there. I showed you all how I Frankenstein some stuff together. If you wanted to, this was enough. You had a drop down and text. If you want more, in creating things from your own examples, you can do the same kind of mentality of just going through a stamp that you like, from what it has available, and grab what it is instances in here and use the calculation window. So you can always copy this calculation window out and grab that data, and then copy the JavaScript window out and create something from scratch so you know how it was built. The best thing to do is always recreate things from scratch. I wouldn't say the script code because it's all there. But if you are really good at JavaScript, by all means, have fun at it. And here you are, right? So then you can copy this over. So you have the two instances that you can recopy over, add information. You can stitch things together as long as that calculation window script has the information that needs to push and pull data back and forth. So you can't add something I tried, maybe someone else has, but I haven't been able to. So let me give you that, what do they call it? Warning, caution. disclosure. That's what I was looking for.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Thank you. Give you that disclaimer for the data here is that you can't just add something that wasn't even part of this calculation window. So try to get something close, because the issue is the calculation window can't push and pull data that's not existing in the builder here. So in the, I guess, global script code, even though your other stamp one gets a global script. But either way, your functions here are pushing and pulling data from your JavaScript window into that option down there. I think we're good. We did it in under an hour. That's wild.
And that's with issues.
Yeah.
And experiments.
Yep. So I think that was pretty good time from when it took me to learn it, because it took forever to understand what was happening, because I've never done this before. So hopefully this helped all of you. There's that 2 links, JS hint, and that link to where I started from after a long-winded Google search. So I wanted to gift you all this workflow for Christmas this year and to end 2024 with some awesome information. So you are all on, when you guys take your break, you can rewatch this forever. And if you're watching this and it's no longer Christmas, it's still a gift to you. Right,
there you go.
Mr. Charlie?
It's just pretend it's your birthday.
Birthday forever.
There you go.
Oh, you're saying the person's birthday. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You listening. It's your birthday.
Remember when you did a good deed for someone many years ago? Well, this is how you're getting repaid, by a random YouTube video.
Well, how do we want to finish this off?
Yes, Ed, this is the last one for the year. Next Tuesday being Christmas Eve, which is a ATG holiday, and then the following one being New Year's Eve, which is not an ATG holiday, but I'm taking the day off, and I'm imagining most of you are too. It's a good time to reset, enjoy. I don't know, we got a few minutes left here. What we don't have is topics for January. That's something that we're going to work on this week, is putting together a list of, what we do for these episodes. Normally it's just a throw a month or two together. I don't think about what we did 3-5 months ago. So that's why you might see some repeats, because I forgot we did it. So if you have ideas, certainly put them in the chat or put them in our LinkedIn group or message us privately or whatever, saying, hey, I wish you guys would go talk about this again. Go for it. Let us know. We, as always, in our 3.5+ year journey of doing morning coffee review, this has all been, for you, the community. People are all over the world using the software and adjacent softwares and probably struggling with it, or having a hard time, or, wanting to get more out of it. And that's why we're under the hood today, diving through some things with the community, helping us along to help you all. So there's certainly lots of things that we can cover more if you want to see more in-depth stuff like this, or if you want us to just cover on what does that button do. I mean, that's what we're here for. Let's dive in.
I was also thinking we can sprinkle some ACC workflows in.
Yep.
So if you were all using ACC, or if you're not and you want to see some workflows from the design end, maybe get myself and Matt Lynn on to do what we taught at AU, and then even some more just stuff in that realm, sprinkled in, not predominantly, right, but sprinkled in.
Right. There's going to be lots of sprinkles in 2025. ACC is something that we want to cover more, because we're seeing a lot of overlap, seeing a lot of comparison of like, hey, why would I choose this over this? And if we can help you make an informed decision, we're going to do what we can. But also there's other workflows that you might not be using, Bluebeam for, that is an ACC, or vice versa. Yep. You're probably going to see some more Go Campus content. Yeah, I'd probably bet on that. You're going to see some other content here and there, but it's all coming from a place of being helpful. So if there's something that you want to see or you want us to cover or how to draw a wall in Revit, go for it. We can reach out to the community and Michael and Matt and others that can help show those things, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. We can get into some of the weeds on Revit environment, Civil 3D. This is all for you. So as you're listening in, you want to hear something, even if it's not Bluebeam related, ask us. That's what we're here for. So I hope you enjoyed the fun time of relearning JavaScript. But again, as we close out this year, I think one thing we have to be reminded of is we're just so thankful for all of you that tune in continuously to MCR, for ATG supporting this avenue that Jason and I get to publish every day. And definitely our marketing team who goes through and edits this. If you're listening to this, Justin, and Riley, who goes through and posts a lot of stuff on the LinkedIn channel for us. And as you've all probably started seeing, we now have shorts. Not like wearing shorts, but like YouTube shorts. You know what I mean?
It'll be 6 more months before shorts are hitting me over here. But yeah, this MCR thing is far beyond Michael and myself. It's all about, the whole team that we've got here at ATG. Even if folks are spending 30 seconds a week helping it, it's all still help to keep us going. So yeah, D-Roots, paid versus free. That's a great thing that we'll probably throw in there too. Speaking of coding, there's a lot that we can do, and this channel is all formed up around the community and what you guys want to see. So I will absolutely echo Michael's sentiments on thanks and gratitude. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. We appreciate each and every one of you, and I will say, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm gonna miss you guys over the next couple of weeks. So we will regroup in January on
what day is that?
7th. January 7th.
7th. So, that's going to be a long time. But don't worry. We'll be back with something from you all. Feel free to email us topics. My email is michave@atgusa.com. Do you want to give out yours, Jason?
I mean, it's same format. So jartley@atgusa.com.
Shoot us an email if you have any specific topics you wanted covered. Because I think we used to have, where did people used to send it? Was there a marketing email that DJ CJ used to check?
I don't know.
Yeah, because we don't have like the ability to do a survey after, which is what we used to tell everybody. Mm-hmm. So email us, DM us on LinkedIn, put it in the MCR chat, or what do you call it? Is it a group?
We're trying there. There was some discussion about what to call the peanut gallery of the MCR chat. So the coffee clatch is a term that David's throwing out there.
We'll so wait, there's been a side I haven't looked at the chat the whole time.
Yeah. They're getting matching shirts for Bluebeam Unbound. It's gonna be, it's a thing. So this is what you're missing out by watching this on YouTube in the future. Live is where it's at. Michael gets up early. A lot of you all get up early to watch this, and we appreciate that too.
Exactly. All right. I think it's time to close this out for the last of the year.
That's it. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for everything. Be safe out there. Have safe and happy holidays, and we will see you January 7th.
See you all then.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.